Sadly, things are not always as they seem. Organizations can, and do put up one face for the public while a very different face lies behind the scenes. It can be very shocking to see behind the public mask. This video takes you on a startling journey of discovery behind the public face of Youthline. You decide for yourself if its public face matches its face behind its quick hide. The journey starts with Youthline's public statement. On the afternoon of Friday, January 8, 2021, we received an email from the Chief of Mental Health Strategy and Staff Well-being of the Toronto Catholic District School Board. In the email, we were informed that we had inappropriate material on our site, and therefore they had to take our link off of the Toronto Catholic District School Board Resources website.
I feel like the LGBT community is often the one who always has to be jumping through hoops or going through scrutiny to prove that we are quote unquote age appropriate.
Let's take off the mask and see.
And then you get to Youthline. Notice the quick hide. A student working on that can hide it from his teachers or his parents. Look like he's doing some Wikipedia research. And he can quickly, when it's not being observed, he can or she can quickly get back to Youthline. And from Youthline you go to online resources, and then you move to sexual health and more. And the particular site we're going to look at in detail is the Autostraddle Sex website. And as we scroll down through this this site, you see all kinds of pornographic material. There's an article on vaginal fisting, which is very, very dangerous practice. Ontario health guidelines caution against it. We're moving further down. We come to strange pornography and horoscopes, anonymous sex toys, all kinds of material that you would not want a child looking at, and certainly has no educational value.
What do you think? Does the public face of age-appropriate material match the face of what Youthline offers up to children and young people?
The reputation we have should give us enough trust to be considered an appropriate resource.
To take the content down is to admit fault and to say that there's something wrong with the content, and there's nothing wrong with the content.
Let's take off the mask and see. Youthline's online resources provide a sex guide for girls that teaches students how to become sex workers. Brazen 2.0 covers disclosure, negotiation, and consent, sex work, safer sex, transition-related surgeries, and access to trans-inclusive health care. What educational value does a sex guide for girls that helps young women, or men, get into the sex trade? Is this what you would want your child introduced to through your school? Is there really nothing wrong with a resource like that? What do you think? Does the public face of age-appropriate material match the face of what Youthline offers up to children and young people?
Student trustee Keith, bisexual, is worried the move limits access to important information.
It's really helpful that we have these online resources reinstated back within our own website.
Let's take off the mask and see. Youthline provides access to a sex guide for men. The authors exclaim, the biggest challenge in writing this resource was what language to use. We asked ourselves, how do we write a guide that deals explicitly with subjects such as cruising, finding sex and having sex in language that is clear and current to the wide range of trans men who will read it? Later in the resource they proclaim the merits of hands, finger fucking and fisting. Putting your fingers or hands in someone's ass or frontal hole is negligible risk for HIV, meaning no cases have been recorded. What do you think? Is this trans men's sex guide something that is essential for students to have available? What possible educational value does this material have for young people in Catholic schools or in any school system for that matter? One question regarding the training of Youthline counselors is crucial. Are these counselors unbiased and representative of all youth in Ontario? Or are they ideologically driven to push an agenda that isn't centered on an individual's health and welfare? Given the nature of this material and other equally questionable material found on this site, I am very concerned that the peer counseling service is not balanced in an emotionally healthy way or medically prudent. I would like to inquire, among other things, as to the degree of scrutiny this site has had by the school board regarding the services, counseling and materials provided through the Youthline site. Youthline doesn't seem interested in changing.
They've indirectly supported homophobic, transphobic, racist rhetoric.
Gupta also says LGBT Youthline will engage in the conversation, but they will not be making any changes to their website. Sean Leathong.